Hey guys, welcome back to Health Talks with Books. I am Books, and today I want to tell you guys my mental health journey. Literally from when I was young till now, everything that I've dealt with, my coping mechanisms, the symptoms that I experience. I feel like mental health is so big, but never spoken about enough. In all communities, and I am ready to tell you guys my journey. It does go hand in hand with the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, so I feel like I can't just tell you my MS journey, I have to tell you my mental health journey too. They coincide quite well. And then I also want to tell you this journey because I want to show you guys that it's okay not to be okay, and that people do really hide their emotions and mask it. Many people know me as a happy-go-lucky person, but deep down inside I could be freaking out busy talking to you. So, I think this is just to help you guys see into the mind of someone who has been diagnosed with a mental illness, and also to, show you that people who do struggle with mental health illnesses or whatnot really do need support, really do need help, or not really help, more understanding and support than help. So yeah, I want to tell you my journey, guys. Let's get into this video and see how mental health illnesses have been treating me. So in 2014, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and a few weeks after that diagnosis, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and general anxiety disorder. So depression is feeling down and sad a lot, but it's not like the weather's down and I just want to stay home and watch movies kind of sadness. It's the one where you feel very down, you feel like you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to do anything, you see the world in black and white, there's no color to your world, you always feel lonely, you always just down. You could have people around you, you could have lots of friends, you could have a great life, but you just feel down. It is a chemical imbalance in the brain. It is not just always a situational thing. Yes, some things do trigger it and then you get overcome it a little and then it comes back and so, but it is an actual pathophysiological problem in the body. So that is like the makeup or your genes, whatever, have been affected. That is what patho is. It's not what the norm is. So it is actually something that is serious. It's not just something that we're making up. I went on antidepressants. I'm currently still on antidepressants for it, but the antidepressants I'm on also tackle or aid the anxiety part, which is what I was diagnosed with as well. So anxiety is like worrying all the time. Like panic attacks, the hyperventilation and all that. That's pretty much what anxiety is. My experience specifically. In the brain, it is your fear centers that are hyperactive. That is what anxiety is, actually a pathological problem in the brain that leads to anxiety. So I was diagnosed with both straight after my diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, but I am very certain that I have been dealing with MS and depression and anxiety for years before my diagnosis. So what happened, the story begins. What happened as a child, in terms of anxiety, I would be scared of everything and anything. I was forced to watch scary movies, and by scary movies I mean like Harry Potter, which is not a scary movie because I've watched it now. It's not a scary movie. But Dobby, it's Dobby, right? The god, I don't know what it is, that thing used to freak me out. I would be so scared to the point where I would imagine him in my room. Like, I would just look in the corner and be like, okay, he's there. That is how scared I was as a kid. I couldn't sleep with the lights off. If I did have the lights off, then the passage lights had to be on, the door had to be open. My parents had me visiting their room at night a lot because I didn't want to sleep alone as a child. It was bad. I was just anxious everywhere I went. Everything had to be perfect. I had to be the good child. I had to be fast in athletics. I had to get all the awards. I had to be smart. Everything just had to fit into its box. Else I would freak out. Also, I had very bad, a very big fear, which I still have today, around or regarding, I'm not sure of the right English word, throwing up in front of people. I am terrified to throw up in front of people. So what would happen is that in social situations, and by social I mean just me and my mom, or me and actually a group of people, or in a restaurant, I would be perfectly healthy, perfectly okay, and hungry, ready to eat. And then I'd look at my surrounding, and then I'd immediately get nauseous. And I couldn't eat because I was like, if I get nauseous, it means I'm going to throw up. And if I eat, and while being nauseous, I'm definitely going to throw up. So I could be starving. I would starve myself the entire day to avoid eating in front of people because I did not want to throw up in front of them. That is my fear. That is anxiety for me. And there are more things, but that's happening more now than when I was a child. But the fear of throwing up in front of people is something that has stayed throughout my childhood, until now. I consider myself a child most times, so until now as well. And then I believe that the depression that I experienced was masking the anxiety. My anxiety was not as bad as a child compared to depression, but now I don't experience or express any depression at all. But the anxiety is on another level. So there were certain situations that triggered depression for me as a child. One of them being is that I didn't fit in with friends and I didn't fit in with family. I am what people refer to as a coconut in South Africa. It means that black on the outside but very white on the inside, as like personality wise and doing things. I don't really speak African languages, mainly just English. So there was a barrier with my family because, you know, social events would be tough because sometimes I wouldn't understand them or they wouldn't understand me. And I just would always try avoid hanging out with them because I didn't know how I would fit in. And then with my friends who are mostly white people, I also didn't feel like I fit in because I'm not white. So the culture that from what I deal with at home, or what I'm used to at home, is different to what they're used to at home. So it was kind of like difficult. Always felt like I didn't fit in. Always felt different. But I didn't always see it as a positive thing in those situations. I always felt like I wasn't good enough to fit into anything. I didn't feel like I was worthy of love. I didn't feel, I just didn't feel like I was good enough. That was expedited, exaggerated, made worse. Just go with simple words. Made worse by bullying. I was emotionally bullied as a child. There was a period where, even though I had lots of friends and I was in the popular group and all, my friends would talk about me behind my back or would say like snappy things to me. And this was in different ethnic groups. It wasn't just white people, it wasn't just black people, it was both. They wouldn't want me to be friends with one that is our mutual friend, so they'd always keep me out and always say, no, you can just babysit my brother and while we chilling. Or they would write notes and make it visible for me to see that they're saying ugly things about me. So I then didn't feel more worthy, and I felt like I had to become even a faster runner or more smart or more amazing to be noticed, to be seen, and for people to know me as a nice person or a good person or a perfect person. And so that's pretty much what happened with my childhood in terms of depression and anxiety. I then picked up very bad coping mechanisms, and I'm going to ask that if you are someone with a mental health issue or mental illness, especially the one like depression or suicide, what I am going to speak about next is very hectic. So please, if you are someone who deals with that, please don't watch this alone. Watch it with someone who you love and will support you through it. And if you are someone who has a family member or friend dealing with depression or anxiety, be with them, support them. Well, not be with them, be there for them. You don't have to fix them, you don't have to help them unless if they ask, but you have to try and understand them. And that's very important. So guys, what I'm going to talk about next, please don't watch it alone if you are not okay to watch it alone. It is my story, but it does bring up emotions and all. So how I used to cope as a child was not the healthiest way there was. After the MS diagnosis and then the depression and anxiety diagnosis, I was quite suicidal for a good 5 years, maybe. I think but like it evolved, so I'll explain. So first, I would mainly just cut myself. I have lots of scars from cutting myself, and whenever I'd have just a minor headache, I'd be like, oh, let me take 5 painkillers instead of just 1, even though it was minor. If sometimes I wouldn't even have a headache or wouldn't feel any pain, but like emotionally I felt pain, and painkillers are to help with pain, so I would take 10 painkillers on that day. Small things like that, like, what, if I die, I die, it doesn't matter. It wasn't really a good thing that I did. I did deal with a lot being in high school with depression and anxiety and a neurological disorder that you don't understand, while trying to be perfect in everything that you do is not easy. Other things that I used to do to cope was to put myself in danger, I guess they're all physically. Like I would drive unnecessarily fast on the freeway. I would, look at trees like, oh, maybe I can crash into this one or that one. I would also, I had a scooter at the time as well, so I'd also ride recklessly at times on the scooter. At times, not all the time. Sometimes I was okay and was like, okay, I really want to see what's going to happen with my future, and then other days I was like, I really don't care what happens with my future. So it was like a back and forth thing. And then once I was legal to start drinking, I used to drink generally after exams, but I would get so drunk that I would black out. And once I got to 4th year, so in 2019, that became like a weekly thing. It was quite bad. The depression and anxiety wasn't as bad from like 3rd year of university, but I was just always down. I was just dull. I was like, I don't care. What's the point of living if we're gonna die anyway? That was my mindset. Even though I still tried to be perfect, there was that part of me that was tough. And throughout all of this, unless if you were really, really close to me and could see my scars, you wouldn't have a thought that I was depressed or anxious or had MS. The masking of mental health and most chronic illnesses is so good. Like, if it was a sport, many people would be like doing really well at that, because it's sometimes really easy to mask it in front of people and then go home and cry or cut or drink your life away. So yeah, that was my coping mechanism, which I then decided to change in 2020 once I started the new MS treatment that I went on, Mavenclad. There is a link to that video in the description if you want to see it. I literally did a switch. I was done. I was tired. I was like, no man, I'm 23 or 22. Why on earth do I care about people's opinions about me still at this age? Why do I care if someone loves me or not? Why? It doesn't make sense. I'm not doing sports like hectically anymore, so I don't have to be perfect. I'm not winning awards, so why am I trying so hard for other people and not for myself? And my mindset changed completely. I went from drinking all the time to not drinking at all. I went from eating unhealthy to eating so clean it scares me sometimes. I stopped cutting. I stopped smoking Hubbly Bubbly, which was my favorite because of the taste. I stopped doing things that could possibly kill me and started loving myself more. I started meditating. I started eating healthy. I cut out the smoking and all that. I started doing things for me, for my self-development, and to help MS as well. And as soon as I started that process, stopped some medications that were making me ill, I then was no longer depressed. I went from wanting to end my life because I wasn't good enough to wanting to share my life because I am good enough. We are good enough. I don't have to be good enough for you. I'm good enough for me, and that's all that matters. I live with me, you don't live with me, so why must I try and make myself perfect for you, sort of thing. That's the mindset that I took. And yeah, so depression is gone. Yes, some days I do get sad, but I feel like I get the normal people sad and not the pathological illness sad. But the anxiety is still around and still haunting me today. I am working very hard and I'm managing it much better now than what I did a while ago. But it's taken having to go on to even more anti-anxiety medication because it was just so much with COVID and all the lockdowns and all of those terrible things that I was dealing with at the time. So the symptoms that I have now for anxiety have went from, being nauseous. That still stays, but it's not all the time anymore. I've also gone from my head used to twitch a lot, like in my exams. I'd literally be sitting there like this involuntarily, like it would just happen. That doesn't happen anymore. But whenever I feel unwell or a little bit ill or anything like that, like even just a slight headache, I would get anxiety in social situations as well as if I'm about to sleep, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening, I'm gonna die today. I have a fear of dying. It's gonna die today because now I have a headache. It means that I have high blood pressure, which means I'm gonna have a heart attack, and then my chest gets, so I'm like, okay, I'm having a heart attack now, and then I have a bad panic attack, and then I struggle to sleep for like 3 hours trying to calm myself down and prevent myself from dying from a heart attack. So that's the type of anxiety that I deal with now. Also, because of COVID and the lockdowns that or the isolations that I've been in, I also have these periods where I just have very negative and inappropriate and obsessive thoughts that would give me anxiety, because I'm like, I don't want to obsess about negative things. And so I have an anxiety attack because of that. So that's why I went on more anti-anxiety medication now recently. But it's all being managed and much better. The obsessive thoughts are gone, the negativity's gone. I'm just like zen happy around me. But all of that change of being able to realize that I did not have depression, and it was only anxiety, and it's not that, it was bad anxiety, but not like everyday constant anxiety, was all possible because I took a positive outlook on life, and I decided to love myself for me and not make myself lovable for others. And yeah, guys, that was pretty much that is pretty much my mental health story. I still have a long way to go. Really do have a long way to go. My mental health is struggling more now that my physical health is good. I feel like you're only given enough, you're only giving what you can deal with, and then I was only dealing with physical health in terms of MS, but now that's under control and that's well. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I haven't had relapses, nothing, and now my mental health is like, okay, you can process me now. So I do still have a long way to go, but if I look back, I would have never been able to talk about this. I would I would tell absolutely no one besides my psychologist about anything sad, anything bad. And I think for a good 5 years of being with my psychologist, I didn't tell her anything bad or come to terms with MS or anything. I never cried in front of people. Now I cry all the time. I'm actually so shocked that I haven't cried yet. I'm telling you guys this, but it's that bad. I feel more alive. I feel more human, not just like a zombie walking around doing things. I see the positivity in life, the goodness of life. I see why we do live and why we die eventually, and not it doesn't matter, I might as well just die. I'm actually now scared to go bungee jumping because of the anxiety, but I'm like, okay, what if I do die and all? Again, that's anxiety, but I don't feel the need to beat death either. I'm good, I'm happy, I'm well. I do sometimes do mask it. People never know that I'm having an anxiety attack unless if I say so, which is something that I'm doing more often now. I would normally say, okay mom, I'm actually having an anxiety attack now, and she'd ask me how am I feeling, and I'd tell her, because I've realized that doing it alone is 10 times worse than doing it with someone who's trying to understand. I never used to tell people because people never gave me their time or their patience to understand, but now they are, and now I understand that they actually are trying, and so it's much easier for me to discuss what I'm feeling, what's happening in my mind, and so forth with everyone. And I am so grateful that even though I shut people out, I still had the support of my friends and my family and my doctors. My psychologist and my psychiatrist are like best buddies with me. Well, not really, professionally they're my best friends. I'm not sure if I'm their best friends, but they're my best friends, and I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without them. Their support throughout these past 7 years have been so valued. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much my mental health story and everything I've been through. I realized that being okay doesn't really matter. It's okay not to be okay, like the songs go. As long as you are working hard to develop yourself and love yourself, then it's okay, because that's all that matters, really. Yes, yeah, you have to love others and think of them and try to understand them and be there for them, but you are your own priority. And once I made myself my own priority, everything got better for me. Guys, I hope that the story or this video does help in showing you that mental health issues or illnesses don't choose who they go for. It can go for it can affect anybody, and that it's actually not just in our head. Like, it's like literally it is in our head. It is a physical issue in our head. It's not just something we're making up. We're not feeling these things for fun. Some people do over exaggerate sometimes. Some people don't exaggerate enough. I'm one of those people that is in between. Sometimes I over exaggerate too much, sometimes I don't exaggerate at all, but it actually is a serious issue. And I want us to all, you know, be aware of people around us, what we say to them. They may appear strong, you know, with you giving them criticism to your face, but when they're in their room, they're probably not strong at all. So guys, just think about them, think about what they say, and I'm happy to share the story with you. If you guys need any support, please comment. I'll also put my email address if you want to email me. I'd love to support you guys and tell you guys how I've managed to get through all of this, like step by step, because it is a really big issue, and I guess I couldn't live with myself if I knew that I wasn't helping enough. So yeah, if you want to see more about my life journey, about different health conditions, do subscribe to my channel. That's pretty much all that I speak about on here. I hope you guys will have a great year. I kind of bombarded you guys with some hectic stuff at the beginning of the year, but I felt like I want to get it over with now. I want to really let it out into the world now so that I can move on and take that next step of really processing everything I've been through as a kid, and now as I am now as well. So yeah, do subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share. I'll see you guys soon with another video on Health Talks with Books. Bye. Sorry, allergies. But thanks guys for watching. If you want to see more videos, do click on one of them over here, or if you want to see my channel, do click on the little round thingy at the bottom of this page thing. Alright guys, I will definitely see you soon with a new video about my life, my journey, or health condition. Enjoy, hop on board, subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.